This is the story of a bulb that bites back. Pick up a whole garlic clove and hold it right under your nose. Almost nothing, just a faint earthiness, nowhere near what you expect. Now crush it. That sharp, sulfurous blast arrives in under a second. Here is the strange part. That smell did not exist yet. Two compounds sit in separate cells, kept apart like a two-part adhesive. They meet, they react, and allicin forms, a weapon built to repel insects and fungi. Garlic only fires it when wounded. That is the whole design. The clove smells like nothing until the moment it needs to defend itself. About 5,000 years ago, someone crushed a wild bulb for the first time. Humans decided to cook with it, heal with it, and build civilizations around it. One act of plant self-defense, that is the thread running through all of it. From Central Asia to every table, here's how garlic traveled the world. Garlic's wild ancestor grew in the mountains of Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan. People cultivated it thousands of years ago, before any written record existed. Traders, armies, and herders all carried it out of those mountains. When the pyramids rose, Egyptian laborers ate garlic every single day. Rome spread it through Europe, while India and China embraced it early. Nearly every civilization that met garlic decided to keep it for good. Egyptian priests and Indian Brahmins avoided it, while everyone else relied on it. Along the way, it earned a nickname, the stinking rose. The smell that offended elites was exactly what made it indispensable. Today, China alone produces roughly 80% of the world's garlic. One plant from one mountain range became one of humanity's most universal foods. This is the 1-second reaction that gives garlic its power. A whole clove sitting on the counter is almost odorless. Inside, cell walls keep alliin and the enzyme alliinase apart. The plant stores them separately, like a two-part epoxy. Cut or crush the clove, and those walls break. Enzyme meets compound, and within seconds allicin forms. Allicin is sharp, volatile, and behind that lingering smell. Most of garlic's documented effects trace back to this molecule. How you prepare the clove changes how much you get. Crushing breaks more walls than slicing, driving more reaction. Drop cut garlic into a hot pan, and the heat kills the enzyme. The reaction stops short, leaving something milder and sweeter. Let crushed garlic rest about 10 minutes before heat. One small pause, and the chemistry completes itself. Food of the pharaohs, and medicine of the ancient world. On Khufu's pyramid walls, archaeologists found ledger entries for garlic. Workers who hauled limestone were paid, in part, with garlic rations. This was not a perk. It was logistics keeping the workforce moving. Greek Olympians chewed it before competition. Roman legionaries ate it before battle. Both believed it sharpened the body and stretched the limits of endurance. None of them knew why, yet the result was reliable enough to trust. Healers pressed garlic into wounds and prescribed it for digestion and infection. Long before bacteria had a name, cultures from Egypt to China trusted it. That same pattern held right up through the 2 world wars. When antibiotics ran short, Soviet medics packed wounds with garlic. Soldiers called it Russian penicillin. It was not a metaphor, it worked. 5,000 years, one answer, tracing back to a molecule in the bulb. Here is what the research actually shows, and it is more modest than the aisle suggests. Large reviews show garlic trimming blood pressure by about 5 to 10 points. That is real, and it is roughly what cutting back on salt would give you. Cholesterol tells the same story, small reductions, mostly in people whose numbers were high. For colds, some trials suggest garlic shortens the illness by roughly a day. The immune effects are genuine, but modest. Not a cure, just a gentle nudge. The bigger complication is what happens to allicin once you actually eat it. In glass, it is powerful. In your stomach, it breaks down before reaching your blood. Most trials with benefits used aged extracts and supplements, not the fresh cloves you cook. Real effects showed up at 4 to 7 cloves daily, sustained for months. That is a long way from the 1 clove you crush into a pasta sauce. Garlic does something measured, not miraculous, and lab and plate sit further apart than headlines admit. Now for the catch: breath, blood, and burns. Garlic breath does not actually start in your mouth. Allicin's byproducts soak into your blood and breathe out through your lungs for hours. They also seep through your skin, so brushing your teeth barely helps. Eaten raw in big amounts, garlic can irritate your stomach lining. It also thins your blood, genuinely and measurably. That matters if you take blood thinners, aspirin, or face surgery. One popular home remedy does more damage than people expect. Some people smear raw garlic paste onto their skin for infections or acne. But that strength allicin is caustic, causing chemical burns, blisters, and scars. Supplements look cleaner, but they bring their own uncertainty. The market is loosely regulated, so allicin content varies wildly between brands. Some capsules hold a trace, others claim far more than science supports. Garlic's 5,000-year reputation came from the whole food, eaten and cooked. Chapter 7. The Wisdom in the Bulb. Crush a clove, and you trip a chemical alarm the plant built against pests. The smell on your hands and sting in your eyes is what drew humans in. It flavored food, entered medicine, became legend, all from one burst of sulfur chemistry. Here is the honest version. Garlic is a food first, a modest medicine second. The effects are real at real doses eaten over time, not a single heroic clove. It won't cure what your doctor cannot, but it makes everything you cook taste better. Get the chemistry working fully. The science offers one simple rule. Crush the clove, let it sit for a few minutes, then add the heat. That pause is the enzyme reaction completing, the active compounds locking in. Skip the pause, and you get only a fraction of what the plant can offer. 5,000 years of cooks, healers, and farmers figured this out by trial and error. The chemistry just explains why all those cooks were right.